We are reaching dangerous levels of meta at this point. Only will it get worse when in 5 years I respond to this video reacting to myself. I thought, because I'm struggling to find a game that will stick for the second channel, I thought, let's do something I've been wanting to do for a long time here. Let's go back in time and enter the Rimworld Games time machine and go all the way back to the 1st of October 2018, like 2.5 years ago now, and review the first ever Rimworld video I uploaded. This was back when the channel was, tiny. I think we were sub 10,000 subs at this stage. I asked the patrons, the dozen of them there were at that point, what game do you want to see on the second channel? And people voted Rimworld. And I played a lot of Rimworld up to this point, for what I recall, maybe a couple of 100 hours. And I thought, let's give it a go. Now, I think this is probably going to be very difficult for me to personally watch, but I think it's probably worth looking back not only to see how far hopefully I've come, but more importantly the channel it's come, and I mean things like editing and audio and everything, video quality. I mean, this is limited to 720p. I think as far as YouTube channels go, I must be up there in terms of amount earned versus amount reinvested into the channel, We'll pop this bad boy out on full screen. I just wanted to look at some of the stats first. 1st of October 2018, 550 likes. This is back when the channel was still Roll1D2 Games. We got a full mod list there of not actually that much, but a lot of them are still mods I would use to this very same day. Very surprising. You see the channel there, and apparently we started releasing Sam at this point too. Wow. A lot of people coming back to watch it again. This is so good. Wow, a lot of more recent comments here at the top, eh? Anyway, let's dive in and see what we've got going on. Hopefully, you'll be able to tell the better audio, and more importantly, how much I've hopefully changed, trained myself to commentate and talk and present properly. So let's see how it goes here. Wow, this is going to be hard to watch, and I'll obviously pause it as we go through and give a little feedback now and again. I'm going to get a copyright strike by myself. Can that even happen?
Welcome to Crusade. Hang on a minute. This is Rimworld. Rimworld, for those of you who don't know, is a colony survival game. And if you're here for CK2, please stay, enjoy the video.
Well, that already feels very familiar, doesn't it? Begging people to watch anything else other than the content that's going up on the main channel right now. How ironic that we've come full circle for me begging the people who are here for Rimworld to watch literally anything else I do. Incredible. Microphone quality, utter shite. The video's stuck in 720p, by the way, so this is as good as it gets.
Because I know you will, because there are some similarities in the way that the game progresses and the actual core elements and the story that are very similar to CK2.
I think that's fair.
For those of you who don't know, Rimworld is a colony-based simulator, survival story game. It says they're a story generator, but I kind of disagree with that. It's a little bit vague. It's not wrong, but it's just very vague.
I actually point out in, the episode of Rimworld that I've got uploaded currently that hasn't gone live yet, today's episode, that game's a story generator. I've doubled down and embraced that, because if I call it a story generator, people can't criticize me for being bad at it. It's part of the story.
So the idea of the game is you are people stranded on this planet out in the galaxy somewhere, this Rimworld, if you will, which is a little bit out of the way. It's a little bit isolated, and you have a few survivors. You could change the, as we'll see in a minute, you can change the way you start the game, but the overall goal is to survive and actually create a successful colony that can survive against, harsh weathers, diseases, raids, things like that. And the idea is you get attached to your characters and watch them horribly, horribly die. So a lot of people seem very interested in this, and it's one of my favorite games. It's one of my most played games as well. I've been playing it since, alpha, and it's now almost in full release.
So what you guys probably aren't noticing, what I'm noticing, because I spent a long time working on it, was actual enunciation. Saying words good, far better than I used to. I was very this is something I very much had to train my voice to do, but back in the day I was very kind of nasally and very kind of up here a little bit more, but I've over time tried to develop that as best as possible. There's only so much a good microphone is going to do for you if you don't know how to actually project and enunciate and say words good. Ironically.
That being said, I've added a shit ton of mods to it. Not a shit ton of mods.
Oh, you poor fool. I've added like 30 mods. These days, that last Christmas series, we were on like 600. Poor, sweet, innocent Roll1D2 Games.
Not mods that change the gameplay and the way things work, because I don't want it to be too confusing for people, but games that just add a little bit of extra stuff in there. So like doormats, for example, more furniture, things that I like but aren't too overpowered.
Industrial
so
rollers.
Like
things that aren't overpowered. All right, let's take a look at that one. Industrial rollers, obviously hilarious. ED embrasures, thoroughly broken. Misc robots. Wow, Dub's bad hygiene. Wow, even all the way back then, I was probably getting grilled for adding that into Series R. Version 0.19, so this is just before the game went into full release. And I had been playing it since like Alpha like 13, I think. I remember when the mining ship mod came out, the mining mod that's in the current series, funnily enough, and in fact relevant to tomorrow's episode, or
I'll
later today.
Through this mod list in more detail at a later date. But for now, if any of you are interested in what I've got, feel free to take a look through this list, slow the video down, pause it, and I'll write it up in the description as well. So, we have to come up with what we're going to do, our starting characters, you know, how we're going to play the game, what do we want to do with our colony. Now, I've sort of had two ideas for how we might want to do this. My first idea that I actually tried doing on this channel a long time ago, before CK2, was building a Jurassic Park. So we go around, we take...
Oh my god. I've done that, what, like twice now? Sort of. Anyway, we did the first one with John the Cowman, where we built that kind of slightly broken Jurassic Park. The problem with that, of course, is if you have too many animals on the screen, it all falls to pieces. And then we did Gene Corp more recently. And of course, there's vanilla expanded genetics coming out very, very soon, which Oscar has been like, hey, you should try and get in, you should get the beta version, get someone to send you the beta version so we could play that. So,
name dinosaurs, we capture dinosaurs, go across the planet, find different
Man, I'm looking forward to playing that.
And build ourselves a big theme park that people can come and visit and pay us to come and visit with the help of some mods. Or, and I kind of like this idea, we build ourselves a sort of Fallout Raider style base where we have an arena, a coliseum, and this base will be led by, like, you know, Elrang and Rhino and all of our classic CK2 characters. They'll be in charge of it, and you guys, I'll do giveaways on the channel, and patrons can come and join in as well. They can give me the names for their characters if they want to see them added to the game. Do giveaways on the channel. You guys can join the faction. You can join our little squad out here, join our base on the Rimworld, and we'll fight you to the death.
How original. It's still an idea I'm clinging on to. I was actually going to remaster this, because now with all the Idea Legends stuff, of course, doing that is actually possible. You don't need a boatload of mods, but, you know, it's something we were still doing in the Mr. Cringe series, right? Man, I need some fresh ideas. My God. Rehash the channel. Good Lord.
That seems like a cool idea. I like the idea of my patrons killing one another.
Well, evidently.
To please the god that is Jerry King and Elrang. So that's probably what I'm going to...
I also love the fact that, firstly, it's 3 minutes into the video, we haven't even started yet. That's something that, you know, I've tried to adjust recently. If I'm not already doing something after, you know, I've got like a minute to explain what we're doing. If you haven't started what you're doing within that minute, you've already basically failed, because the YouTube algorithm is that strict these days that you need to already hit, you really just need to hit the ground running. There's no time for intros or anything like that. Not, you know, beyond the silly comedy intros I sometimes do. Anyway, yeah. I love the fact that to even understand some of those comments I was reading were like, oh, this is I've come here to learn the Rimworld Cinematic Universe. I love that even to know that, you've got to go and watch the CK2 stuff to know who Filka, Rhino, and Elrang and shit are as well.
Right now, and I'll sort of talk about some of the base mechanics, but I won't get too inside baseball with it. As you sort of pick it up as we go, it's very self-explanatory, right? So we have 4 scenarios.
I'll skip on a little bit here. There's a lot of explanation, and it's just me explaining how...
Or you've got Randy Random, which...
You know, it's me explaining how the storytellers and shit work. I don't think we need that. Set the seed to Piggy the Dragon. Man, I remember Yoshi's Joy Grove a little bit too. How long was it before we actually got into game here? Just out of pure curiosity. Like 15 minutes. Bloody hell. I try and keep it for first... kind of the first episode of a new series, I always try and get it done within the first 5 minutes, and then episodes after that within the first minute before gameplay happens. Let's jump to the character creation. That should be a bit more interesting.
These 3 characters to take on your adventure, and they might appear in your campaign as well. You can rename them, but for our playthrough, and a mod I really like using is something called Prepare Carefully, which actually allows you to fully customize your colonists. So we're going to do it from scratch and customize our boys. Again, kind of similar to CK2 in the way you design your character here. So you got your stack.
Not even remotely true. Right, let's jump through to when we've actually got those 3 characters going here and see if I do like a little summary or something like that. Okay, yeah, it seems like I actually might as well. So we've got Elrang, Everqueen, Diswaltney, and Jerry King.
Incredibly good with marshals. You might remember we were trying to get him up to 100 marshals during the live stream. Artistic. I think he's an artistic man.
Made him a trauma
savant. Restoring the pyramids back to their former beauty. A night owl because, as we remember, he was a mummy that was reborn. I couldn't make him blue, unfortunately, so I just randomized the skin color. Quick sleeper because he is a mummy, but also sickly because he is a mummy. That is the downside. You would probably be a little bit ill. Child slave because he was born in Egypt all those many years ago, and of course is a castaway because.
Well, let's explain the backstory of the character. We'll skip forward.
The 3 of you awake, 4 of you awake in your crypto sleep sarcophagi. How appropriate.
Honey presents the Honey Challenge.
You can't put an advert on my own video. God damn it. This is back before I was even monetized. I hope I'm getting paid for these videos even now.
Apart. Sometimes later, you land on this unknown Rimworld. Wow, okay, here they are. Boom.
Game
Our
volume
boys.
almost non-existent there. Good work.
Everqueen, Jerry King, and the Eternal President Diswaltney. They have
No speed mod. Crazy. I would never be able to live without the smart speed these days.
landed on the Rimworld. This is their new home. And you know what? We actually got a pretty good start here.
Oh,
Look at
the
how
bit
well
rate's rough, isn't it?
defensible this is. So, this is our map. This is where we're going to be building our base, our Colosseum for you guys to fight to the death in.
So a little inside baseball, if I'm to quote myself there. Video metrics, you can kind of measure in two ways. You've got, of course, the video quality. All that means is the resolution, right? When you click this quality button down here, that's just the resolution. How big the screen effectively is, or how dense the pixels are on the screen that it's intended by. In this case, it's 1080p, so it's 1920 pixels by 1080 the other way, right? But the other, more important metric, I'd argue, is bitrate, and that's how much information is able to be displayed within the video. So even though it's 1080p, when I'm moving the camera around there, it's going all smeary. That's because the bitrate was way, way too low, and this is obviously something at the time I just didn't know or knew, but probably more likely I couldn't afford the good enough internet to upload a higher bitrate video. Higher the bitrate, higher the, the upload time is going to be. So I probably just couldn't afford it.
And we're going to have our 4 leaders, our 4 kings. So what are we going to do to start off with? Well, it's basic Rimworld to start off with, unfortunately, because we don't want to die very quickly. Oh, we have a pet dog called Julia. Can we rename you, pet dog? I would get a mod to rename the dog. You guys suggest some names for the dog in the comments, and I'll pick the most upvoted.
You can already rename the dog.
Funniest.
To my credit, it's under the training tab, which I've always thought is very, very silly, but hey-ho.
The one that's the best pun, or something along those lines. We'll rename the dog, because Julia doesn't fit in with the series at all as we know it. Let's go ahead and allow everything across the map to start work on our glorious base. So architect is where you build everything and designate areas, things like that. Actual world manipulation.
Wow.
Of course, you can see we can...
What is that there? Oh man, it's quality builder. A haul urgently before it got the graphics upgrade. That was, I'm noticing that one. Wasn't entirely necessary, but there it is.
Surfaces to make these walls a little more appealing if you want to build your base straight into a cave or something. Chop wood, hunt. These are just your general commands. Then, like I said, these are for build.
What is that? Oh, bridges. Whoa.
So we've got structures.
Okay.
We've got these
shellfish traps. That's from is that from Rainbow's Fishing? I don't remember. Obviously, we've got vanilla fishing expanded
buildings that do other things. So you can use this to butcher animals, or this one to cook your food. You got furniture. Misc is sort of things that you wouldn't be going to particularly. So graves, sarcophaguses, party spots, caravan spots. I can't wait for the party spot to be useful. Let me tell you. Security, traps, sandbags. Eventually, as we research, we'll unlock turrets, things like that. Industrial will be our rollers, which is from a...
Not using too much overpowered. We've got industrial rollers, and then we've also got tilled soil. That's incredible.
Mod that allows us to, sort of Factorio style, move things around to different rooms automatically.
Still hanging on to that idea, huh?
Floors, I think that should be pretty straightforward.
These days, I try and pick things that are a bit more kind of graphically... what's the best way to describe it? A bit more... in line with base game Rimworld. So I don't use more floors anymore because it looks as if someone's just taken like a JPEG of real life plywood and stuck it in the game, right?
Recreation there, so we could have
stands out a bit too much in my opinion.
Poker at. That's the best thing I've ever heard in my life. Temperature control. We've got hygiene control there for another mod here that basically allows us to build hygiene, because I feel like it's a big thing that's missing from this game. And then hygiene misc there as well. We can build ourselves a litter box. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Irrigation sprinklers too. That could be very useful for farms.
You've got tilled soil. You don't need that. That's one thing I'm noticing already. Like, I like to think I'm a little better at explaining stuff these days, because my god, this meanders. Secondly, panning the camera around like a madman.
Well, first things first. We need to designate them an area to live in. And honestly, looking at it now, we're in a very defensible area. Like I was saying, this is actually... a separate area up here. We could definitely fortify this wall out a little bit with our own sort of stone fortifications there and build this out so it's blocked off. So I'm thinking we put the base down here, because then we've only got to really worry about enemies coming across these plains. So they can come in on the corners of the map, and you can't build in the corners of the
mountain base. That's brave.
But for the most part, we could also block this area off, stone this up a little bit more.
Why didn't I go in the bit that's like northwest of that? Where it's still a sealed off area, but it's also got geothermal generator.
Then we've only got to worry about enemies actually spawning over here or moving around. We could put like a big gate across here as well. That could be very cool.
That's a fair point.
All right.
Why the fuck didn't I move like up here? Oh, we don't need caption. They're not going to work. Like up on this side.
First things first. we need to designate an area where they're going to live. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe just wall across, straight across here with the wood. I assume we started with some wood? Yeah, we do.
I don't know what I mean by designate an area they have to live. I think I'm just trying to say build a house, but in the clumsiest way possible.
So why don't we wall straight across from here to here? There's some raffle easy. They're going to have to chop that down. And we'll sort of make this area our starting area. So we want to have them a place to dump all their stuff in. So create a dumping zone there. And they should immediately start work on that. But you can customize all of their schedules and everything, which is what I'm going to do now. So the ones in red, they don't like doing or hate doing.
I think we all know this, so I'll go ahead and skip over this part because it's just going to be explaining how schedules work in a very clumsy way. And maybe even setting up and not editing it out. The most gripping content, of course. Then what? I go and have a look at some elephants, go back to the work tab. Oh my god. How much of this video is work tab alone? It never ends. And then we got schedules. I'll skip over that too. And then we got like restrictions by the looks
robots,
of it.
Wildlife that shows everything on the map. So we have, we can see all our animals here. The percentage chance that they will, if we shoot at them, attack us back. So elephants will attack us 10% of the time. Panthers will attack us 10% of the time. Cassowaries as well. So what we want to be hunting are the lower chance ones. Things like tortoises, monkeys, chinchillas, things like that aren't going to get us killed if we actually want to hunt them. We can also tell them to, you know, hunt specific ones from here. Or even try and tame them. Get ourselves a pet rhino or a pet elephant. Or maybe get gored in the process. Maybe not, eh? This is our research tree. Now, this is a big mod that I've got to make research easier. If you're playing with a lot of mods, you definitely want to set yourselves up a research tree. And again, this is basically how research trees work in every other game. Say we wanted to research smithing, you would pick smithing. But say you wanted to go for flak armor, which requires machining and another one first, you would pick flak armor. So they would do smithing, machining, then flak armor instead. But for now, we want to pick something that's probably
that is how video game works.
The ones on the left-hand side are going to be the easiest research, and that's how many points it takes. So the more points you got, the longer the research is going to take there. So, for example, if we look right down here, uranium slug turret takes 3,000, but it also requires all the other stuff before it. So autocannon turrets, gun turrets, blowback operation, gunsmithing, shit like that. We want to
Oh my god. Look, say not playing with too many overpowered mods. I'm keeping an eye out here. We've got reactive flooring from that more flooring mod. And this stuff, I remember being so overpowered, it would slow the game down massively because it would fire so many jobs per tick because your colonists were moving that bloody fast. It was a flooring that made your colonists faster when they were on it. So it was very, very processive intensive. It was ridiculous.
Pretty straightforward. I feel like something like carpets would be bad. Terrain rehabilitation.
We're going to start with carpets, are we? Are we sure about that?
That allows us to build on, you know, rough stone marshes, that type of thing. The ability to grow trees, probably not a bad idea either. Brewing beer, maybe not too important. Smithing, what are we going to go for?
Batteries?
Water filtration seems like it might be important.
That's not a terrible choice,
Yeah,
I suppose.
I feel like that's not a bad plan to start off with, so we'll go for it. So to research that, they're going to have to research septic tanks, sludge compost, and then filtration. Now, the sludge, the
probably would have gone with batteries, personally. I mean, personally now, rather than personally then.
Sewage, we can use as a fertilizer for our farms as well. So that's going to kill two birds with one stone. And that will show us that we've got two things queued up there and one thing being researched, that being septic tanks. They're the queue. The world allows us to see the world, just in case you've forgotten, there's us.
It's interesting that I started playing after they changed the world map. Back in the day, it used to just be like a 2D hex map where you used to just pick somewhere to start, and that was all you had. I remember this was such a massive change when we had that when caravanning was added in.
Obviously, the big white one. Our closest neighbors.
Wait, hang on. Is caravanning even in the game at this point? I think it is, but I'm not sure.
Grove are the Slayers of War. They sound fun. And then we've also got the White Antelope Tasker, a tribe over there. And we can see what they are willing to buy, so we can send caravans over there to trade with them.
I'm not going to lie. You're never going to press that button again for as long as you play this game past me.
We can form a caravan and set a route, things like that. And again, these guys aren't going to be interested. They'll just attack us on sight. So we really don't want to deal with those guys, to be honest. And that's basically it. The only other thing we've got to worry about is the actual character tabs. So this will show what they're doing. Diz Waltney spoke to Elrang about learning chess. That's pretty nice. Chit-chat. We've got his gear there. So he's got a synthread button-down shirt and some pants. And those all have the traits as well. So it show you, like, this is very, you know, complicated stuff that we're never going to have to worry about. Shows you how much it's worth. It will show you...
Market value, 189.72. Back when they did doubles for market value. Weird.
What sort of temperature it can resist. How much insulation it gives you. If you're really playing hard mode... the toughest of the tough Rimworld, you do have to worry about that stuff, but for us, it's probably not going to be relevant.
You don't have to worry about armor value unless you're playing tough Rimworld. I mean, it's not wrong to some extent. I suppose if you're playing on base build, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Friends with Diz Waltney, That's pretty nice, because they had a talk about maybe playing chess together, and now they're friends. That's kind of cool. So that's his opinion of Diswaltney, so plus 21, and Diswaltney's opinion of Elrang is plus 26. So he likes him a little bit more than Elrang likes him back. His biography here, that just shows us the character screen.
Bloody hell.
So he hates...
Not too overpowered. Fast learner, hard worker, psychically hypersensitive, which of course at this point in the game was basically worthless. 15 intellectual, double passion, 11 melee, double passion, construction 11, animals 10, crafting 10. Yeah, not too overpowered.
Caring and artistic. I know how he feels. Those are his skills as well, and we can rename him, or we can banish him. So if there are particular patrons causing trouble, we can kick him out, and they might come back with raiders. They might come back with a different society, things like that.
That's true,
the world
yeah.
is alive, and it'll feel alive. We might have relatives turn up. Elrond's son might turn up with a caravan or something like that, and offer to trade with us, and we can try and recruit him. Cool things like that. This is like The Sims. If you've ever played The Sims, you'll recognize.
I was just about to say, I can guarantee I'm about to compare this to The Sims, but it's a fair comparison.
Recognize these bars. Mood is his overall mood. If these bars fall below these sort of tiers here, that's when bad things can happen. So it says if it falls below 35%, there's a chance for a minor break, a major break at 20%, and extreme break at 5%. So they'll have different reactions. It's random depending on those thresholds that they fall beneath. So say, for example, if Elrang fell below 5%, he might decide, you know what, I'm going to light this base on fire and kill out everyone in it because I'm just that pissed off. So ideally, try and keep the mood bar pretty high. As we can see, the white arrow represents where it's going to go to if we unpause to. As we can see now that it's increasing because it's in the green. And it'll settle at that point there.
Uh-huh.
And that's it. That's his needs, and that's
said
his
that
health.
twice now.
We've sort of seen that already. He's good at everything. He gets the best medicine. He has no operations. But we could harvest his kidneys. No, let's not do that. So these are your notifications, CK2 style. These will be over here rather than at the top of the screen. We've got need colonist beds, so all 4 of them need a bed. Hunter likes a ranged weapon, so our 3 hunters here, Elrang, Everqueen, and Diswaltney, need a weapon. Now, we only have 2 guns and 1 knife. I'm not going to send them hunting with a knife because I feel like an elephant versus a knife. I wouldn't put my...
And you can't, because it's a melee weapon, but we won't worry about that.
...bets on the knife wielder, let's put it that way. And they need recreation varieties. So this is new. Let's need 3 different...
Is it new? Is it new at that point? And the notification might be new, but it certainly wasn't a new mechanic or anything like that, as far as I recall. You always needed recreation variety, right? Otherwise they got the board moodlet. I don't remember. Maybe. This was a long time ago.
Different types of recreation to remain satisfied. Right, got it. Okay. Sure. Dexterity play, cerebral play, television watching, telescope study. So all different types of stuff there. Sure. And let's see how they go. So, place blueprints over mountain rock. That's a mod that actually allows you to build... If you don't have that mod, so say, for example, I can just go like that, right?
Replace stuff?
They will mine over there and then build it. If you don't have that, you have to manually mine that out. You mark them to mine it and then build over the top. Very cool mod. Again, a lot of the mods that I've got right now are just sort of ease of access type mods.
Yeah, quality of life, except for all the stuff that's really overpowered. But yeah, it's quality of life.
Don't make the game necessarily easier, but a little more convenient. All right, let's go. Speed 3 and watch them go to work there. There's the start of their little base being built up. Everqueen's chopping down that tree so that it's not taking up too much room. And they're hauling all the goods that they crash landed with into the base there. We should probably get them equipped. So who was our best shooter? It was...
I was about to say, you're going to actually equip them with any of that?
Everqueen, right? So when we give her... She's got bolt action rifle we spawned with. That's pretty good. Now, it is deteriorating because it's just being left outdoors. So you need to store that properly. We've got the revolver, which is also normal quality. And we've got a knife. So the one thing in the information tab you might want to keep an eye on is the DPS, because that's kind of important. So the damage here is 18, and it does 4.5 melee damage. I assume hitting them with the butt of the gun. 18 damage. Okay, not too bad. What about the revolver, then? I imagine it's probably slightly less. Yeah, 12.
We're not going to worry about cooldown or warm-up or anything else. Stopping power. What's armor penetration? 18%. So it's all pretty much identical to how it is now, right? Melee armor penetration 13%. Well, if you hit them with a revolver, that doesn't sound right. It all looks about the same. 20% sell price modifier, because of course it's a gun. Yeah, I'm not seeing any big differences there. Weird.
18% armor penetration, only good against armored enemies. So if you're hunting, which we are at this early game, doesn't matter. 27%. So we'll give the Everqueen the bolt action rifle. We'll get her to equip that one. So we've got her selected, and then you right-click on objects to actually get her to equip them. We're going to make her wear the flak pants as well, just because she's going to be the one going out there into the wilderness and fighting our enemies. Jerry King, what's up with you? Your needs seem to have dropped there. He's sick. Oh, what's up, Jerry King? Oh, he's got crypto sleep sickness, because obviously you've just very suddenly woken up, you know? So that will disappear over time, and of course he's a trauma savant there, doesn't matter too much. Diswaltney, was he our second best...
Trauma savant doesn't matter that much. You heard it here first, confirmed.
Shooter, let's take a look. You have to go on the character tab for that. That's me being an idiot. Shooting, not something you can really get them working on. All right, let's see his bio here. So shooting is 14. Jerry King, yours is 0. Diswaltney is 8. Arang is 3. So actually, Diswaltney is our next best shooter. So we'll go ahead and give him the gun wherever it's just got hauled off to. It's about to be put in the base.
I remember more of this than I thought I would.
Oh, we do.
It's very bizarre. Like I remember Diswaltney being a fighter. I remember building this kind of
medicine there. We've got some components
base down here.
Machinery. Lots of packaged meals.
I know you're probably thinking like, oh, it was only 2.5 years ago. That's a fair point, but I've made, quite frankly, a staggering amount of Rimworld content between now and 2.5 years ago. Like a disturbing amount.
Those are deteriorating. Now, normally for food, you would have to build a fridge.
Ideally.
As they're packaged survival meals, they're sort of like dried food, like military rations, that type of thing. So we don't have to worry about, refrigerating them or anything like that. Awesome. We're good then. Everyone's good. Gathering packaged meal to hauling inventory. So he's picking that up and going to carry it away.
34-minute video.
Oh shit! There's a load over there as well. Wow, those spread out quite far, didn't they? And as you can see around the map, we've got little different things here. So we've got some cassowaries running around. We've got some little flowers that we can harvest. We've got some berry bushes we can harvest from. Some sandstone chunks, which we can refine down into bricks and actually build our base out of. There's a lot to talk about in this first episode. This is more of a, more of a recap, more of getting to grips with Rimworld, that type of thing.
Isn't it just, yeah.
We'll really start kicking things off. We'll leave that one there. Let me know what you think of the idea.
Was that cut there? Hold on. That's all the editing you did. You did a single cut right at the end.
This is more of a, more of a recap, more of getting to grips with Rimworld, that type of thing. And next episode is when we'll really start kicking things off. We'll leave that one.
It bloody was a single edit throughout the whole episode, and it was right at the end. Wow. Holy crap.
Let me know what you think of the idea. I hope you've enjoyed Rimworld a little bit here.
I mean, there wasn't much to enjoy, was there?
This is something we do for a long time, so I really enjoy this game, and I'm looking forward to building our colony.
Is this going to be something we do for a long time? Oh, I got news for you, pal.
I'll see him to the death. Hope our characters survive that long. That would kind of suck if they died off pretty quickly. Shout out to all the patrons: Sean Thornton, Danny Good, Zachary Harris.
Let me read off all the patron names. Don't do any credits or anything, because that's obviously too difficult.
Very much for your support. You guys will get the next episode a day early. If you're interested in that, head over to the Patreon and have a look.
Did I do that? Did we do day early episodes for patrons? I guess I did. Obviously, there's nothing I do like that anymore. I do like Patreon update videos and some other kind of side stuff, but never anything like that. Wow.
That
was a whole lot of nothing, wasn't it? Bloody hell. I expected it to be worse, but I'm kind of pleasantly surprised in a way. It wasn't cringe. It wasn't necessarily too ill-informed. It wasn't, nothing happened. They built a wall and that was about it. Holy crap. Not really much progress for 35 minutes. I'll be the first to admit that one. But it wasn't as bad as I anticipated. I think a lot of the changes are, again, technical, audio, video quality, etc., etc. That wasn't awful. I'm kind of surprised.
Earlier than everyone else's. Don't worry. There's not going to be any, spoilers or anything like that going out, I hope. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like Rimworld as much as I do, and we'll see you next time.
Well, there we are. My God. That was, I don't know what I expected, but that probably wasn't, wasn't it. That wasn't it, I don't think. I'm actually somewhat surprised about that. Oh, it was 17 episodes of this series, too. Look at that. Wow. Turkeys and genocide. We did a bloody live stream. It's coming back to me now. We did a live stream of the final episode. There you go, 2.5 hours. And I remember we killed the trade caravan, trapped the turkeys in the freezer. My God, when was that? That was a legendary moment, if I can find it. So is this it here? My God, the ads on YouTube are obnoxious, aren't they? I don't normally get them. I'm using a different browser I normally use, so I'm not signed in. Wow. Is this pre or post-turkey? That's the important question. I think this is pre-turkey. Can you see any turkey eggs in there? Because that's when shit really popped off with this one. Doesn't really matter anyway. I'm sure there's a clip around it. So I'm like, oh yeah, there are the turkey eggs. We trapped a caravan in the thing and then set fire to it. That was the classic. Wow, what a playthrough, huh? What did the turkeys explode out everywhere? Let's see if I can just find that moment, because that was I think one of the first real moments in Rimworld where I felt like this game had some real potential for shenanigans. Oh, there it is, I think. All right. Well, I think we found the moment right there. Let's skip back to just before. Oh, yeah, here it goes. What a moment. We've got to show this bit off.
400 turkeys hatching. Let's turn off dev mode as well. Oh! Oh! Oh, God!
What a moment,
fuck,
huh?
that bathroom!
And if I remember correctly, because we stole them from a trade caravan, all of the turkeys were hostile as well. They all count as part of that faction. So we had 430 hostile turkeys in the bathroom.
Holy shit, there are so many turkeys. Oh, they're bashing the doors down. What the fuck? Oh, well, it's locked. Hey, do you want to let them out? Because they're going pretty fucking nuts. Oh, they're not tamed either, are they? Oh my god, there are so many. Hang on, they're enemy turkeys. They're enemy turkeys.
I think that I haven't watched a bit more, actual gameplay now. My inflections and my reactions to things are still the same, aren't they? It's all still identical. Wow. No doors between the living room and the kitchen there for reasons I can't quite ascertain. We've double sealed the freezer up there. We've got a little airlock on it. It all seems fairly standard stuff. Wow, have I really not changed that much in this long? That's sad, isn't it, really? Crazy. Wow. You know what? Not nearly as bad as I anticipated. I honestly thought it was going to be a massive cringe fest. I thought it was going to be way worse, but it was actually fundamentally very average, making this episode not as interesting as I expected it to be. Thank you for watching. Maybe we'll come back in another 10 years when we've actually had some reasonable personal growth and channel growth. Maybe I'll be up to 50 million subscribers by then. Who knows? I doubt it, but you can dream. And we'll see what happens. Thank you for joining me on this passage through time. And I'll see you all in whatever episode comes upon this channel next.